health insurance, insurance claims, diagnoses. There's so many confusing topics out there when it comes to receiving healthcare services or understanding, insurance and how benefits work. So we made a video explanation with the hopes that this explanation clarifies some of the confusion out there. But the number one takeaway in this video: insurance is the boss. I'm going to explain more in just a moment. Before all that, though, hi, just in case you don't know, I am Dr. Michelle Wilshire. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and I'm the founder of Wasabi and Well. Hello there, nice to meet you. Now, before you go making a bunch of assumptions, no, there is no Maserati or Benz sitting in my driveway. Even if I had it, not really my style. I mean, look, I wear crystals, people. Come on now. Um, but I know those are some really big titles: doctor, founder, and it could sound like, oh, she's living the dream. Some days, yes, some days not. Living the dream for me is waking up most days doing what I love. The vision here is to create a holistic wellness brand that serves all and specializes in Black women's wellness. Why? 95% of our organic customer base, the people who just waltz on right through the door without hesitation, has always been, from the jump, Black women. It's actually another reason why I want to make this video, because this is new territory for many of us. For many people who are coming to therapy, their parents didn't go to therapy, they don't have family members who are doing this. So this is new territory, which comes with new challenges. And I really want for you to walk away from this video having a better understanding of what happens behind the scenes and what we have control over versus what we absolutely do not. I also want to be able to answer some of the common questions and address some of the common concerns that we have seen just in the past year. I mean, this year started out really rough when it came to our insured clientele. And so we're hoping that we can maybe prevent most of the confusion. At this very moment, our primary service is therapy. So at Wasabi and Well, we offer individual therapy, couples therapy, we have group therapy. We also offer wellness courses and online communities, things that are absolutely not covered by insurance. But our primary service is therapy, and that in most cases is covered by insurance. So just to give you another quick example of what I mean by this, you could go to a specialist and in their office, they offer both covered services and uncovered services. Now, person A might go and attempt to have a covered service, and their insurance may not cover it because of their specific plan that they have. Whereas person B may go in for covered services, and their plan actually covers the whole thing or part of it. The difference here is that each of these individuals have completely different insurance plans. They may pay different rates. They may be part of a different tier, like some have like a bronze or a gold tier. Whatever those things really mean is explained in the explanation of benefits, your EOB. This is really important because this explanation of benefits houses all the information you really need to know about your plan. What I have found personally, though, is even though the intent of the explanation of benefits, your EOB, is to make sure that you are informed, it isn't always clear. So, remembering this, insurance is the boss. Remember, that's the primary takeaway of this video. So whenever you do not understand something at your job, in whatever position that you hold in your career or at a company, who do you go to when you need to know more? The boss. So under that umbrella, considering that insurance is the boss, let me tell you what that means, what that translates to for us as a private practice, as a wellness brand. We do not make the rules around what your copay is, your co-insurance. We don't even make the rules about how much we get paid. So here's what I mean by that. Therapist A, who accepts Aetna, may get paid by the insurance company, or reimbursed is really the term, $60 for the same exact service. Therapist B may get reimbursed $100 for the exact same service. Meanwhile, you in the first half of the year might see therapist A, who's reimbursed $60, and your copay may be $50. And you may see therapist B for the last half of the year, who gets reimbursed $100, and your copay may still be $50. Am I starting to make a little bit of sense here? The boss, aka insurance, decides what your copay is and also what the therapist is reimbursed, and two different therapists, same credentials, could get reimbursed at different rates. Now that part isn't really your concern per se, right? You care more about, what you're going to pay out of pocket. But I just wanted to make that very clear, that we aren't somehow pocketing more money or less money, that is all decided by the insurance plan. There's even been a few cases, where a client comes in and they have one plan, but then their plan changes. And so where they had insurance, the copay of $50, and then the copay turns into $160. The therapist, their take home will stay the same. We are not pocketing anything additional. Insurance also decides what we take home from that service. I didn't make the rules. I'm not making this up. This is very real. I can look at it right now, where there are people paying double their copay because their deductible changed. When their plan changed, their deductible reset. And because they haven't met their deductible, the insurance isn't paying anything out of pocket. But the insurance is not going to pay our rate. They're going to pay whatever. The insurance isn't charging our rate. The insurance decides what the charge is going to be. I cannot emphasize this enough. What I really want you to take away from this specific part of the video, I would encourage you to make it a habit to call your insurance company for any purpose. Meaning, if your insurance changes, you want to change your specialist is changing locations, you just have a random question, call the boss and ask those questions. Like, hey, what will it cost for me to see a behavioral health expert? Or what would it cost if the CPT code is 90837? And that is our intake session, for example. So that gives you an idea, like, oh, well, your copay is going to be this, right? Let's see, other questions that you can ask. Hey, if I see this person once a week versus twice a week versus 3 times a week, what will that look like? Can I do that? Can I see the generalist, which most of us in the practice are generalists, and can I see a specialist, like an EMDR specialist or a postpartum specialist in mental health or behavioral health? What would it look like if I had to be admitted to the hospital due to a psychiatric reason? Call and ask your insurance these questions. They are the boss of the answers, and hearing it from their mouth can give you the reassurance when you go to see us that you're not going to receive a surprise bill. Now remember, we have a healthcare crisis in this country. Surprise bills are happening to all of us. I just got one the other day. And what did I do? I didn't freak out, which I used to. Now that I'm in this, I understand not to freak out. So I know that that's probably what's happening here, is like that's the go-to emotion. Instead, I call the insurance and I let them know, hey, I'm looking at this bill. I don't understand it. Can you help me understand? And within minutes, they were like, no worries, bill gone. It was a misunderstanding. That brings me to my next point. Most of the time, almost 99% of the time, that someone comes to us stressed or concerned about something going on with their bill, the conflict or the issue is resolved within minutes, and it becomes a non-issue. The issue becomes a non-issue simply by coming to us and asking us a question. Hey, I saw this on the platform. Hey, what does this mean? You could save yourself a lot of stress and anxiety by either going to your insurance or coming to us or both. All right, so the last part that I want to cover in this video, the very last part, is I want to give you a little bit more background on what it looks like behind the scenes for Wasabi and Well. We use Simple Practice and we're using something called Headway. So these two platforms may change in the future, but as of right now, Simple Practice is an EHR, right? It's an electronic health records type of program that is HIPAA compliant, meaning it's confidential, it's private, and it's where we hold your records. Like when we have a session or when you make an appointment or when you complete your service and we create a bill or the platform really creates the bill. And the second platform that we use as of right now is called Headway. But that platform runs our claims. Okay? So we have one for records and one for claims. So if you are a cash out of pocket client, then you only use Simple Practice because that's where we'll collect the payment. If you have certain insurances, not all, but most of the insurances that we are providers in, we use Headway to run those claims. Headway handles all of it, right? So we put your information in, and you also have a profile, like a login and a dashboard that you can view. You could probably see way more than we can, quite honestly. I can't see your credit card number. We cannot see receipts, right? So this is how it looks. My client comes to me on Wednesday, has a session. They're an Aetna client, let's just say. And I see them on Wednesday. We finish our session on Simple Practice and Simple Practice video session, all the things. I write my note in Simple Practice. The platform, Simple Practice, will create an invoice whenever it does that. And remember, it's an invoice. It's a bill. It's not a receipt. It's a bill. So then at some point after the service, whether it's 2 days later or 4 days later, we'll go over into Headway and file the claim on Headway. And then Headway handles collecting your copay, and then it handles sending off all the documentation needed for that claim. If insurance decides that they are not going to cover that service for who knows what reason, here's what that looks like. We are pushing and fighting for you, and we are pushing to get that claim covered. Because if it's supposed to be covered and we understand it's supposed to be covered, then we're going to continue to push. But let's say that we lose the battle. You're still responsible for paying for that service. And I know it really, really sucks. It's again, healthcare crisis. None of us are immune to this crisis. Many of us are receiving bills that we didn't think we were going to have. We just want you to understand that we actually do fight for you, and we will resubmit claims, and we will, speak on your behalf, and we encourage you to also call as well. But sometimes insurance just decides, nope, this isn't it. We're not going to cover it. Okay? And if that happens again, you would still be required to cover the cost of the service. It's not to say that we're never understanding. Of course we are. But think about it. Again, the life of a therapist, we are not necessarily rolling in dough. This is a misconception that therapists have a bunch of money and because we have our degrees. And what I've come to understand is because most of our clients are, they're like the first ones in their family to ever attempt using therapeutic services, it's a new territory. And I think we have a lot of grace and we have a lot of empathy around that. But we also know that it's important to be informed of how it all works. But going into the new year, what we really want to avoid is the calamity that happened early this year, where some people had insurance plans that hadn't started yet, like they weren't active, or there was a really big change from their previous plan to this one, and then their services were not covered. So, this is why that document that you're looking at that you have to sign is being sent to you. It's going to be sent to any active clients. If a previous client comes back, we'll send to them as well, and then any new clients coming in, because we want you to make an informed choice. If you choose to use our services, you will have a better understanding of what the process looks like on the back end, and also what some of the expectations are around offering our services, and then, of course, being reimbursed for them. Okay, so final takeaways. Final takeaways. Number one, the number one thing is that insurance is the boss. So please ask the boss if you have questions or you want to clarify some confusion, or that you want, so that you can make a more informed choice as you're moving into services. Again, whether it's with us or another specialist. Because apart from your PCP, most of us are specialists and we may or may not be in network, and our service may or may not be covered. And last, really important point, I'm saying it this one last time, reach out to your clinician. Please do that. Part of the Wasabi and Well brand is, well, there's the number one thing is that we embrace imperfection, including ourselves. Being clinicians, we are absolutely imperfect and we know that. And we're very, very human, and we have to take care of ourselves as well. We cannot afford to be overworked and then go ahead and help you not be overworked. That doesn't really work that way. Think about that. How's that going to work? I'm stressed out and up to my neck in issues, and I'm over here trying to help you. How's that going to work? It doesn't. One way to protect my team is to make sure that our clientele is informed, and to make sure that they are getting paid for their service, and making sure that they feel appreciated, and making sure that they feel seen. That is very important to me as being founder of this brand. I am an advocate for Black therapists being seen and being appreciated and being paid for the work they do. But because we are human, I really want to encourage you to reach out to us. We do try our very best to make sure that you feel seen, that you feel heard, that your issues are addressed. I do hope that you have a cozy time between now and the end of the year. We look forward to continuing to support and serve you all the way into 2024. Unless you're graduating therapy, then congratulations!